Welcome to the Raptors Show on the Sportsnet Radio Network. We're brought to you by Bet Rivers. It's a whole new game. Reminder, we're streaming live on Sportsnet's YouTube channel and airing live on Sportsnet 360 Monday to Friday from 2 to 3 p.m. Make sure you find the Raptors Show wherever you listen to podcasts and subscribe, and please rate and review our show. I'm your host, William Liu. I'm joined by producer and co-host Alex Wong. And we're also joined in the first segment by the first person I ever followed when I signed up for Twitter.com, J.E. Skeets from the No Dunks podcast. Skeets, what's going on, man? I was just listening to the end of the show today, and I was like, oh, yeah, you're coming on the show. And it was one of those, like, break the fourth wall kind of things. So, Skeets, how you doing?
Alex doesn't tell you when I'm coming on the show?
No, I know. I'm just not prepared enough for work, evidently. I was just watching it before work, just trying to catch up on everything that's going on in the NBA. And you guys were stepping on the beach. And then at the very end, you're like, yeah, I'm coming on the Raptors Show. I'm like, oh, yeah, I got to go to work. So from one YouTuber to another, welcome.
Thank you. I'm always excited to come on and talk a little Raptors, talk a little NBA, have some larfs with you guys. I love coming on this show, too, because I'll get a random text later today, hopefully from a friend or a family member in Toronto that just stumbled upon this. And it's like, oh, I saw you on this or heard you on this. So thanks for having me.
Yeah, no, that's always I feel like the awesome part of this show is I think Will and I sometimes will give random shout outs on air too.
Yeah.
Just to see if anybody in the city is listening. Sometimes they're not.
Test them.
I think we were shouting out Amy Audibert all off season, being like, hey, are you listening to these banter pods? If you are, send us some basketball emojis. And the text messages were silent. So it's a test to see who's listening or not, which is always fun. But no, Skeets, appreciate you. Before we even get into any topics, just want to say thanks. I know you and Tass took the time to record a hype video for us to help us promote the show in the Classic Factory. And actually Taz went with the extra mile because on one of our banter pods in the off season, we were joking in the hour 4 about wanting people to send in clips of them saying hello and welcome in different languages. Because this is obviously Will's catchphrase, and Taz actually sent us over a hello and welcome in Greek. So here's the on-air debut.
Γεια σας και καλώς ήρθατε στο Raptors Show.
So,
wow.
Do you want to use this regularly, Will, or no?
Yeah, definitely. But also, I want to extend that once again. I would actually love to have 30 editions of Hello and Welcome. Yeah, maybe make that the intro or something.
Yeah, because this for me is the I think the Raptors still do this on the court, right? The We the North in all the different languages.
Yes.
And things like that. So this would be the Raptors Show version. Skeets, and anything you can contribute to this?
I was going to say, do you want me to give you a really poorly done Atlanta version?
Yeah, we would love that.
Okay, all right.
Okay, so what am I supposed to be saying again?
Hello and welcome to the Raptors Show.
Okay, here we go. My Atlanta version as a Canadian living here. Hello and welcome to the Raptors Show, y'all.
All right. We're
I think maybe we'll keep the Taz one.
What? That was perfect. Jesus.
Appreciate Skeets. No, but it's always amazing to me. Always thinking about Will, first ever Twitter follow. And Skeets and I used to roll in the same condo building. We always joke about this, the barbecue meetup. So, lots of connections.
Here's the thing. Before
I want to know.
Yeah, go ahead.
Will, have you ever muted me for a week or two though?
Why? No,
I'm just
never.
Curious.
No, never.
Okay,
Why?
good.
Why?
Respect. Thank you.
Oh,
I'm just wondering. Sometimes I'll go on some Twitter runs, maybe some threads you don't want to read.
No.
I wouldn't be upset.
No, you're not one of those accounts. Trust me, I've got dozens of accounts that I follow that I'm muted, but you are not one of them. Don't worry.
Yeah. I'm not live tweeting every single Raptors possession.
Yeah.
Oh man,
it can be much.
No, respects to those people. But listen, Skeets, the Raptors are playing in Brooklyn tonight. It's the start of a really tough 5-game stretch at Brooklyn tonight, and then they go to Miami tomorrow, and then they play another road game in Miami on Monday, and then Philadelphia is coming here for 2 games at Scotiabank Arena. So, my new theory is, because I know, at No Dunks and here on the Raptor Show across all podcasts, we're always doing season preview content, right? And, breakout players, predictions, tiers, all of that. My new thing, Skeets, I don't know how you feel about this. I feel like we shouldn't do any season prediction content until we've watched 1 game of every team in the regular season.
So you just want to really lean into the wild banter pods during the summer off season and just talk about nonsense. Hey, we do it too.
Yeah.
But at a certain point, Alex, I mean, you gotta you got to do your prediction podcast just to fill some airtime for those first couple of games, right?
No, I'm just saying, like, it's just so hard when you go into the season and you feel good about like certain teams making additions, how they're playing in preseason, all of this stuff. And then it's like I watched the Lakers on opening night and I'm like, oh, I wish I picked them to go 17-65. Like, you got to
Right,
watch them play
yeah.
in one real game first.
Yeah, that's true. Well, what we did on the podcast today, on the Drop Podcasts with No Dunks, is we pretended that we're celebrating Mulligan Month, we called it, and that you can walk back your predictions that you don't feel good about after a game or two for some of these teams. So, we did that. I would encourage you guys to do that.
That's actually a good one. Let's do that right now. Will, do you have a mulligan, that a prediction or maybe a team or a player that you're high on that you would like to walk back 3 days into the season?
After one game?
After 3 games, like 3 days into the season, after everything that you've watched.
I don't know, man. The Sixers, they did make some additions, but so far they look uninspired, and Embiid doesn't look entirely happy with James Harden just being James Harden again. He was like, oh, we love James when he's the point guard, and I'm the scorer. And now it's like, oh, now I'm waiting for a kick out from James. So, I mean, I don't know. The Sixers have not looked that impressive. I mean, they've had like 2 of the toughest opponents in the East so far, but I was watching the game last night. But I mean, neither the Bucks nor the Sixers were impressive to me. It was one of those games where it was just like, please make it end. Like, I would love to honestly, I'd love to see the Lakers instead of this. And the Bucks ultimately won on a Wes Matthews 3. But it's like, yeah, I don't know. The Sixers have not impressed me on either end, actually.
Yeah, I don't know. I want to get your thoughts on this too, Skeets. Like, I wonder too, because we were watching Raptors Cavs on opening night. And, the whole first half, I was like, man, this is a really mid game. Like
No, you really said they're having a mid-off.
Yeah,
like
they were having a mid-off
during the game. Yeah.
And I felt the same way at times with Bucks Sixers, but I actually don't think it's the teams. I just think because of all the talk about the competitive balance and how many good teams there are in the East, I just think we're just going to get a lot of these games because of how close the teams are. Like, that's why the games are ugly.
I can see that happening. Yeah, I can see that happening. I think, I hope it ends with the victory like we got on Wednesday night from the Raps, but I feel like there's going to be a lot of Raptors games like that, that are like this back and forth affair where, they struggle to score at times, but then their defense gets them back into the game, and then they get hot. Maybe a couple guys knock down some threes, and it just sort of like, your heart's going the entire time until crunch time there, and then they can hopefully take over in some of them or most of them, I guess. But yeah, I hear what you're saying. And we talked about the Sixers a lot, just to go back to that. To take a mulligan, Tass and Trey were both very high on the Sixers. They were saying number 1 seed in the East, lock it in. Tass had Embiid for MVP. So that one was a popular one to walk back on today's show. Yeah, after seeing their first 2 games.
Yeah, I was just a little skeptical because, too many people talking about how DeAnthony Melton was going to change the landscape of the East in the offseason for me. And once they panned to Doc Rivers, you kind of remember this is still the same Sixers team. But, having said all that we shouldn't do any, early season impressions or predictions. Skeets, what is your impression of the Toronto Raptors after exactly 1 game?
82-0, baby. Let's overreact. I will say I thought you had an error in the rundown, Alex, when you had the upcoming schedule with at Miami, Philadelphia, obviously in Toronto. It's like, oh, he accidentally put it twice. And then I'm like, oh yeah, we're doing this thing where we're gonna like have a series, like it's a baseball series now.
Oh please, Skeets, this is a
like...
sensitive subject. Please don't say that.
Oh jeez. Okay.
Yeah, no mentions.
Well, anyway,
no mentions of any 2-game baseball series, man. Please.
Season.
Okay, good point. So, but it caught me by surprise because I forgot that they were doing that in the NBA this season, which is going to be a little strange. But hopefully, because there's less travel, because you're just staying there. Yeah, I'm sure no teams will get in trouble in South Beach staying there for an extra amount of time. But to the Raptors, solid first game, first win. I think the advantage that they have now. I know Nurse has talked about like these first 20 games, we're going to be tinkering with lineups and see what works and what doesn't. And that makes sense. Like he's going to do that, and as you should. But I think the Raptors' advantage over a lot of teams will be the continuity of basically just running back the same team, running the same systems. Everybody should know what they're doing defensively for the most part, and sort of the pecking order when it comes to the offensive end, at least like who we're going to start initiating the offense with. And we saw it sort of at the end. I know Will was talking about this on I think it was a podcast, maybe with Blake, but you guys were talking about the game where it was like, it's Fred and Pascal, sort of like pick and roll action there.
Yep.
And I think that's just a huge advantage. Like, I hope the Raptors can take advantage of that, where a lot of these teams, be it the Cavs, like integrating Donovan Mitchell, and the Hawks with DeJounte Murray, it goes on and on and on, that that will be like a little leg up on these other squads, because it's like, well, we've been doing this for a while and you're trying to figure it out while we're just tinkering around the edges. So it was a good game. My other thing was, I love seeing Van Vliet take just 9 shots, as weird as that might sound, because I'm excited about the possibility of like Van Vliet, hopefully leaning more into like that Lowry style guy, where it's like, sure, some nights we need 30 from you, but a lot of the time, play defense, be the table setter, and let these other guys, hopefully cook. And it was a pretty balanced effort when you look at the box score and what they contributed, all the starters there. So good game. Really, really happy with the victory in the end. It got tight, but they pulled it out and executed when it came to fouling and hitting just enough free throws.
Yeah, Skis, I was going to say that's a great point about Fred, because, there wasn't a lot of focus on Fred after game 1. I think, obviously, Pascal looked good. Scotty made a whole bunch of plays in the fourth quarter. But, when I watched back the game on Fred, it was kind of like that Lowry-esque kind of performance where he kind of chipped in a lot of places. And I'm thinking of just about like, look, that extension didn't ultimately get reached between the Raptors and Fred VanVleet. However, every time Fred's asked about this, he just says, I love the Raptors. I have a great relationship with management. This is always going to be something that, he sees a future here in. So it does make me feel confident, even though without the extension, that there's a long-term future. And it's like, but at the same time, as a player going into a contract year, essentially, only taking 9 shots, like that can't necessarily be on a night-to-night basis. Do you think that that's a little bit hard to sell with Fred, or do you think Fred's just so emotionally mature and selfless that, he's willing to sort of play whatever role it takes to get the team to win? Because there is that strong relationship, as he mentions.
Yeah, I feel like it's the latter, honestly,
Okay.
with Fred.
Okay.
I think as long as the wins are there, I think it's a whole different ball game. If it's, you're 500 or the team's struggling and not meeting expectations. If they're winning, more games than they're losing, at a decent clip, then I see Van Vliet. Because that's a funny way to look at it. Back to the Lowry comparison, it's like the best Raptors games did feel like a lot of the time where like Lowry was a second or third thought, right? And then you're like, oh, look at all the little things he did. Look at the contributions defensively, setting up guys, hitting, timely shots. And then it was like, and then everybody loves him. Like, he's the GOAT, in my opinion. So it's like, if Van Vliet can do that, that's probably good for the Raptors moving forward. Cause that means, Siakam's got the 25 and OG's flirting with 20 and Gary Trent's hit some, 3 or 4 threes in a game. So like, I like that balance, I guess, more, and not having, really hopefully having to play Van Vliet, 40 minutes and take your 20 shots and stuff like that. I don't think he'll care if the wins are there.
Yeah, I was just
well, that's okay.
Yeah, I was just gonna say Fred VanVleet minutes watch, because Nick Nurse did say at media day that he's gonna bring his minutes down. I think Fred was like 37 and a half like minutes around there last year per game. And yeah, just pulled it up 39.
You know what, though? Not 39. All minutes are the same, though. For real, not
yes,
all.
We have established
if you're running the pick and roll and it's on you to create and drive and make the play happen every single time down, like it was at the start of last season when there were injuries, that's a more different 39 than what Fred.
No, I think that's a really good point. And like, I want to conserve that Fred energy for the fourth quarter when he's coming up with those huge defensive plays.
Yeah, him ripping Jared Allen to the ground. Yeah. I mean, like, he's a full foot shorter than him, and Jared Allen's got the ball above his head. Like, that's toughness right there.
Yeah, no, that's incredible. No, I think you guys make really good points. I think this is going to be like the push and pull with talking about the Raptors this season. Is like so many players have these individual expectations, right? Like, you look at just the starting 5, all of them, could potentially be averaging 15 plus points a game. And, you're going to be looking at these different scenarios in different games. I think certain guys are going to get more touches. And then, that might become a conversation of how to get everybody involved. My overreaction from after the first game is that at some point this season, the Raptors starting 5 is going to be like the Atlanta Hawks that year. The starting 5 is going to win Player of the Month. Yeah. That's my prediction.
Well, can we get 4 All-Stars into the All-Star game then? Cause,
you know what? That was like pretty ridiculous. Like, congrats to the Hawks, but
Kyle Korver All-Star just doesn't sit right with me. I don't know. Kyle played well. I mean, I don't know. Skis, were you in Atlanta at that time?
Yep, for sure. I remember.
Was there really that much Kyle Korver hype?
Well, yeah, the hype you guys were saying was like they didn't lose in the month, right?
Okay.
And was it not? It may have been January. It was good. It was well timed by the Hawks. I think somebody could fact check me. I feel like it was the month of January where they didn't lose, and then that led into the All-Star game. And they had everybody, getting the accolades there. It was a bit of a stretch for sure. Korver making it. I mean, he was important to their wins, but like, He's not on an all-star level. He was probably averaging like 15 points per game or something like that. And it was like, oh, this guy's been in the league for a long time, and I throw him a bone. He may have been a replacement for all I know too. So
yeah, fair enough. There were some suspect all-stars in the East over the years. Goran Dragic.
for sure.
We're
Friend of the
still gonna
program.
bring up Goran.
Yeah, that's right, Goran.
Come on, man. It's season 2,
a year
man.
later, we're still salty for no reason.
Please, let's move on. Didn't he beat Kyle Lowry the other night?
Who cares?
Oh, okay. Oh my God. It just took 15 minutes for the bias to start showing. We're just having such a great, down the middle chat about the NBA. This guy just invokes Goran Dragic for no reason.
Out of nowhere, man.
Speaking of Raptors fan favorites, the Raptors are taking on Yuta Watanabe and the Brooklyn Nets tonight. And, friend of the program, Yuta, dropped another wonderful Players Tribune essay from another former Raptor. I think the Players Tribune essay from former current Raptors players is deep at this point.
Yeah, we got Norm, we got Kyle, we got Yuta.
Did DeMar write one? Maybe not. Maybe it was a little bit too close to home at that point. Trying to think who else. Patrick Patterson wrote one way back.
A Space Jam 2 review. I think,
listed out all the theaters.
I don't know
where to get your scene points. No, but here's here's what Yuta wrote about Toronto. He said, "I love Toronto. It was a big city. Also had a peacefulness. It was wonderful. There were lakes and lots of natural beauty with a real sense of calm. Skeets, is this how you remember Toronto?"
I guess sort of, but every time I come home, it's the exact opposite of that.
I was gonna say,
especially living here in Atlanta, the South moves at a different pace. So calm when I come to Toronto. No, I wouldn't say that, but it is beautiful. I know what Yuta's saying there.
Yeah, and he also went on to say the fans in Toronto are very passionate, and even after I left the team, many people still sent me kind messages through social media. William Liu, that includes you.
I mean, I don't know. Do I run my own social media account on Instagram? I don't think I do. I believe you said that, Alex.
Yeah, so Skeets, I was told by Will to send a message from his IG account to see if Yuta would want to go for ramen right before he left Toronto. And
we should get ramen, the three of us.
And it's it still has not been seen. So let's put an end to this era. But no, like honestly, man, I miss Yuta, and I'm rooting for Yuta in Brooklyn. He's in such a great harmonious environment and an organization there. I think Will, great things are ahead for him.
Yeah, I don't know, man. That situation's tough. They do lack wings, so maybe Yuta get some playing time. But then I saw him miss an open three and stuff, so I was like, all right.
Yeah.
Hey,
no, we're
more
rooting.
the same.
No, we're rooting for Yuta. Yuta was obviously a Raptor show favorite, and Skeets, I know you day one Raptors guy. Who your all-time favorite, like fan favorite Raptors players? Like not the obvious guys, but the deep cuts.
Right. Not your Lowrys or obviously Vince and stuff like that. Well, what about does Matt Bonner count?
That's a good one.
Oh yeah,
that's really kind.
I mean,
people forget he was only here for like a year.
I know. Didn't it feel like he was there so much longer?
Yeah. How did he already get the Red Rocket nickname too? By the way, that was quick.
Because he took the TTC, right?
Did he actually?
Yeah, I think he took the TTC. Yeah,
he did. Yeah. I would go with him. He was he was always great to our show when we were up there. Then at that time as the Basketball Jones. So like he filmed stuff with us. I think when he was on the Spurs, like we did a whole campaign to try and get him in the 3-point contest. We thought he was deserving of a spot, and he evenally got in, but not the year we were trying.
Right.
We played a small part in getting him there. He was awesome. I mean, it was just I just know him personally. I think I went and saw a couple shows at the Horseshoe Tavern with him.
Wow.
So he's a great rap. Even he was a solid player and had obviously an incredible career, really. But yeah, for 1 year only there is wild when you say that, Will.
Did you guys take the 5-10 without paying? Because that's how you know you're a real Torontonian.
Yeah. No, I mean, I lived where Alex lived. I just walked over there.
Oh, fair enough.
Yeah.
All right,
I probably had a bike. I think I had a
generational
bike.
wealth.
Did it get? And I know what you're going to ask. Did it get stolen? Absolutely, it got stolen.
Yeah.
Oh man, that's part of the
classic.
How come they never talk about that in the Players Tribune essays?
Did get his bike stolen? Come on, man.
How come we never hear about that? How come it's just always the passionate fans?
He did rediscover it at that Chinatown.
The quiet lakes. This guy went to Queens Key one time.
Yeah. Let me give you some more though.
Yeah,
a couple others.
Of course.
Really random. These are super random names, but for whatever reason, I liked a thing or two about them. Walt Williams. I was
Oh,
a
yeah,
big Walt Williams fan.
wizard.
You guys got to explain this to
Yeah.
me, man.
So Walt Williams came in year 2 because Tracy Murray was like the original 3-point shooter, and that was
That's
going to
right.
be one of my deep cuts. And then he signed a minimum contract, so he went to
Yep.
Washington after year 1, and they brought in Walt Williams, and he was like our sharpshooter.
Yep.
Like
he
if
was,
Matt Thomas was like 99% type.
It's amazing the stats
Okay.
Walt Williams put up in that contract year. Like he averaged 16, 5, and 3 for the Raps.
Mike
and,
James,
like, shot
Mike James is not
40%.
impressed by that, to be honest.
Wow. Okay. Okay. But yeah, the Wizard had the socks.
Yes, the
You know,
high
he was there.
socks. Yeah.
Yeah, he was
Okay. Alright.
he was there for a year or two. So okay, Walt Williams.
Yeah.
That didn't impress Will. He was
No,
upset
I
about
was just
that.
No,
I
the
wasn't-
pro-
I-
okay,
I
Skis,
was-
the
I was
problem
like
is
3 years old.
the problem is he came to this country in like 2001.
2000.
Yeah, 2000.
Yeah.
So anything before that, Raptors related is hard for him. Yeah.
Okay. Well, what about this player? I think he came in the trade for Doug Christie. The big nasty, Corliss Williamson.
Yeah, that's also before
Oh
my
my
time.
God,
I'm sorry,
man.
Skis. This
What?
is generational difference, man. I
Oh
thought you were gonna
my
say like
God.
Jamario Moon or something.
I thought you knew basketball.
This is why I can
man.
only
No,
book.
I know who he is. I just
This is why I can only book guests from that are like 19 and under. Yo, any 15-year-old Raptors fans out there
no,
want an
Raptors
opportunity
people in
next
the chat,
Friday?
let me
Hit
know,
me up,
man.
man. Oh my
Here,
God.
Will, let me give you one.
Yeah.
Have you heard of Coloco? Are you a fan of him?
Oh,
Do you know
yeah.
who he is?
God.
Okay, there you go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I do think
Um,
Coloco's gonna gain fan favorite status.
Oh,
man,
yeah.
very
Oh,
quick.
yeah.
I think he already is.
Easily.
He already has that kind of like
Who is the fan favorite candidate on this team, man?
right now.
Yeah, I think it's
You know how
but no,
immensely
Scotty's
popular
too
Scotty
good.
is.
Scotty's too good to make that. Like, if you have a Google Pixel commercial, like you're like mainstream.
Okay, fair.
Like
fair.
like it's
It's-
got to be like a deep cut fan
Okay.
favorite, right?
Deep
Wancho,
cut.
although I was trying to figure out.
Wancho
what
did get a
Wancho-
huge cheer for because they lined up all the Raptors and they were like
Yeah, 'cause
Wancho
of
Hernan Gomez,
hustle.
and it went nuts. People were going crazy.
Yeah, if you were in a Netflix movie, you would get a huge ovation as well.
Okay.
Oh, shout out to Wancho. I'm not trying to take that away from him.
My final one.
Yes.
I don't know if Will will remember the name, but
It's okay.
and it was for nothing he did like when it came to playing basketball because I remember him being like quite poor at that. But Roko Jukic.
I remember. Yeah,
yeah.
I remember Roko.
Oh,
Okay.
yeah.
Yeah.
Now
big
here's
point
the
guard.
only reason I loved him.
Yeah.
And Andrew Wiggins still does this to this day. It's tough to just like explain it on the air here, but I'm doing it while I'm saying it. But
Yeah.
they sort of stand like when they're just like break and play. They stand. The best way I can put it is they stand like a pregnant woman.
Okay.
So they fold. You put your arms on your back, like down by your waist,
Yeah,
but
yeah,
you
yeah,
sort of
okay.
flip your hands over.
yeah, Wiggins does do
and
that.
he would
actually.
do that all the time, and Andrew Wiggins still does it. So
Okay.
shout out to Roko.
What a Canadian tradition there, Roko Ukic
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
Andrew Wiggins. I mean, he wasn't Canadian, but he
Lots
played in Canada.
of lots of random point guards, man. Ben Uzo. I'm trying to think of guys who play like just couple games. You remember Skeets Rod Strickland was on the Raptors?
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely.
the Kyrie mentor.
All right, man. This is a good lesson to never do any segments involving pre-2000 Raptors on this show when Will is on. Moving on
Yep.
to the current day Raptors. So I think a lot of people were really excited before opening night when the Raptors official account dropped the set of media day photos that was taken by the Tier 0 team. I'm sure everybody knows, all the Raptors fans know what we're referring to, these awesome portraits. You know, there was that amazing photo of OG and Masai and of the individual players. And friend of the program, Oren Weisfeld, actually spoke to the Tier 0 crew for Complex Canada. So everybody should look that up. Go follow Oren on Twitter, look up the account. The guys talked about their inspirations. And for people that don't know Tier 0, you know, like guys like Charlie Lindsay, Jamal Berger, like they've done a lot of stuff in the Raptors space. Like
Yeah,
I think
absolutely.
they try to keep themselves behind the scenes and just let the content speak for themselves. But they've been at Media Day for, I want to say, the last 3 or 4 years. They were involved with How Hungry Are You? The
Yep.
Pascal content at Red Bull. They're responsible for as well. So people should, you know, if people didn't know, because I saw a lot of Raptors fans being like, yo, who took these amazing photos? You know, definitely follow Tier 0 because they do a lot of great stuff here in the city. Now, the other thing I wanted to run by you guys is as the photos were being released, the Raptors, you know, dropped them individually and gave nicknames to every single player. Now, every time we talk about nicknames on the show, you know, obligated to shout out Enes Esmer for coming up with Spice and Dice amongst the other 14 nicknames that were rejected last season. So I'm just going to read these nicknames out right now in this list, and I want to get you guys' reactions for it. So pretty obvious ones. Fred was Steady Freddy. Pascal P. Skills, Gary Trent Jr., GTJ, OG Ananobi, OG3, Chris Boucher, Slim Duck, Scotty Barnes is 4. And then you have Precious, the Presh Prince. Thad Young is Thagic Johnson. And here comes some of my favorites. Jeff Down Jr., Don't Doubt Him Jr.
Come on, man. Come on.
Actually, this is my favorite one. Kem Birch, Chemistry with a K. Kem Birch is literally a team term. Shouts to Kem. Ron Harper Jr., Rutgers Ron. Justin Champagny.
Rutgers Ron. That's not.
I know. Some of these are just brutal.
That's a CV. That's not a nickname.
Hold on, man. Justin Champagny, just him. Champagny. Malachi Flynn, Flynn Sanity.
You can't take Flynn Sanity.
That one hurt me.
You can't wait to watch the
Sanity can't be
HBO
the nickname.
documentary on Flynn. Yeah.
Oh,
The Lynn
man.
Sanity run was him in Tampa. Like, that can't be it.
Christian Coloco, CeeLo, Otto Porter, Mr. Automatic, and Wancho because he's Bo Cruz, the Cruise Missile.
Right.
Skeets. Any favorites out of the group? and Delano Banton, Dubber Don.
I like that one, actually. Dubber Don is sick to me.
Yeah, that one I don't mind.
Yeah.
Okay, I like some of the early ones you said, fine. You know, I think Siakam just as spicy. I know Spicy P, but I like just spicy for him. Why? Can you explain? I mean, I think I know the reason why, but 4 for Scotty?
It's just a number, I guess.
Yeah, it's a number,
Like,
and he refers to himself as that on social.
Oh, that's
I guess the
yeah,
4th pick.
Yeah, he always go, let's go 4. Like he refers
Yeah.
to himself as that.
Okay, Scotty too hot. He's way better. I like Gucci Gary for GTJ.
Yeah,
for Gary
I'm not a
Trent.
fan of nicknames that are just your name, like abbreviated, like or like your initials. Like it's not. Same thing with OG3. It's not CP3. Like OG3. Who's ever called OG3?
Well, I mean, we can
Also,
start.
Wasn't
I
there
can
origi-
use these names all season if you want.
Yeah.
Like, let's talk about chemistry, man. By the way, chemistry is in tonight. Yeah, chemistry, aka
Oh,
Kem Birch,
Birch.
is available.
So we call Birch the tree man. That's
Yeah.
all we call him.
That's better.
No, I just love chemistry because you know, Skeets, when Strizzy does the introductions
Yes.
for the starting lineups at the games, when Kem Birch is in the starting lineup, his nickname is just representing We the North.
Yeah, because everyone else is like by way of the UK.
Yeah,
or
they've
like,
got their
your
own, like,
NBA
yeah.
All-Star for Van Vliet, or like get your hands. It's time to tap in, get your hands clapping for Gary, which I really do like that one.
You love
Gary
that one.
claps a lot, so like I get
I can
that one.
confirm you love that
But
in the
Kem
booth.
just
yeah.
hitting We the North. Like we got to get one more than We the North. I'm not saying I want that much from a starting intro, but
Listen, nicknames are hard, so I'm not going to be too hard on this.
what about the Fresh Prince? Like you flip the F and the P.
Right.
The
No,
Fresh
see,
Prince.
nicknames
No?
are
Okay.
hard,
Yeah,
man.
these are not
no,
good.
nicknames are hard. My only issue is there's 2 hymns on this team, and the 2 hymns are
Yeah,
Jeff
you're
Down Jr. and Justin Champagny. I think we need a rule on that. Like each team can designate one hymn.
Yeah, you're
Because
right.
I feel like the hymn, there it's like an epidemic right now. Like everybody who drops like 18 points in a quarter is suddenly him. Like there can't be this many hymns in the
you're
NBA.
Right. You're right. You're right. One
They're
of them
just-
could be like a religious song, like a hymn.
No,
Just hymns. He
no,
just
like there's
sings choir.
no, there's
Prayer
two,
emojis. Get your prayer emojis.
no,
up.
there's just too many hymns.
Yeah. I agree.
Anyways, I just wanted to point out that I think we talked about this last season too. Like we're going through a nickname draw right now, Skeets, in the NBA. Like it's tough. It's tough. Nicknames are hard right now.
It's difficult. What is your take on the Mr. Automatic for Otto Porter Jr.? Because I actually don't mind it,
Yeah, it's
but
actually not bad.
do you have to, like, he's a career 40% 3-point shooter, but it's been a few seasons since he's flirted with that. So I'm like, to be automatic, like what threshold does he have to hit for the Raps? You know what I mean?
Maybe he only drives automatic, no manual.
No, but we talked because Otto loves his cars,
Yeah,
and
he
Will
does
was
love
talking about it with him. So I think this is like a double entendre situation, like Mr. Automatic,
Friday's on the
Mr.
show, guys.
Automatic. I think that's amazing. They should put him on the Nas-Illmatic cover as Automatic. Here's a free design idea
Okay.
for
I
everyone.
Like that, yeah.
Once again, just handing out free ideas. But yeah, no, Rutgers Ron is growing on me as well.
No,
I like the
No.
idea of just
No.
taking someone's alumni and the first name. Yeah.
man.
So we're gonna call Lee Van Osman Toronto Metropolitan University Lib.
No, you're UTM Alex.
Yeah. No, UT Scarborough, man. Come on, man.
Okay.
But yeah. So, anyways, just want to point out the nickname drought. Well, listen, Skeets, I know we've kept you for longer than I told you we were going to. I really appreciate you joining us. Hope to have you on during the season as well. Everybody should go ahead and subscribe to No Dunks. I'm sure everybody does already. And actually, last shout out to a friend of the program, Jerome, aka Black Dragon
Yo,
Roll, who joined the
salute.
No Dunks team.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Great
Yeah,
addition,
that's
man.
right.
Damn.
Yeah, we lost Lee Ellis and replaced him with Jerome. And look, it's tough to replace the Aussie, but Jerome's killing it. Like night one, he made a video for us that like went viral with like 2 million clicks. So it was like, hey, good start. So
Oh, we saw
yeah,
that.
We're pretty pumped to have him on the team.
He put Jordan Poole's face on Draymond's suit, right?
That's right.
Yeah, I don't know how
he
technology is
tweeted it.
able to do all this stuff now. It freaks me out, but that was good use of invasive technology.
Yeah, he's pretty awesome. So thanks for having me though, guys, and go Raps.
Appreciate you. Always. All right. We are going to take a break right here. I'm your host, Walu. That's Alex Wong. You're listening to The Raptors Show on the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Let's go, classic. What is this?
Welcome back to the Raptors Show on the Sportsnet Radio Network. I'm your host, William Liu. I continue to be joined producer and co-host Alex Wong. As we do at the end of each week on the Raptors Show on Fridays, we give our shout-outs. And Alex, being the gracious person that he is, will do all these shout-outs for us.
Oh, God. All right, let's see. What's under the company man section? Shouts to Derek Brandeo and Jennifer Olnick, as always.
Shout out!
So nice to be back in studio and with the entire team. And also, we have great people supporting us behind the scenes. Welcome to Vang, to the team, Kyle Craig, JR, who was hanging out with you at the booth at the arena the other night.
Yeah, salute to JR, man.
Yeah, becoming a mini Will Lou, to be honest.
Yeah.
So people know that
There's a lot
Will,
of complaining on the in the booth.
Yeah, I never know if the Raptors are down 25 in the first quarter every game, just with the negativity permeating from the booth.
Yeah, well.
And, Will and JR definitely bringing that energy. DT, Greg Sansoni, Pat Flash, thank you for all the help. Finally got my work email set up on my phone, etc., which is great. Shouts to former global ambassador Faisal Kamisa, who, I don't know if you saw this, he named every single Taylor Swift song on a Sportsnet broadcast yesterday to celebrate the release of the new album.
Yeah, I saw that on Billboard.
Are you LeBron right now?
No. I saw that on
I
Billboard.
saw
Legit. No, they wrote a whole piece about Faisal. when he did.
Okay, wow.
Yeah, so go to Billboard.
I know Faisal's going to love
Twitter.
that.
No, he already retweeted it.
Oh, okay. Yeah, so
of
I know
course.
he's loving that. So yeah, I'm taking suggestions. If you guys want me to reference any album, preferably 90s hip hop Oasis, or I think that's all I listen to, actually. I can do that for a show for you.
It's a real duality of man right there. 90s hip hop or Oasis.
Yeah, and by the way, speaking of music, shouts to Dylan Brown letting me know that, Death Cab for Cutie are here next June at Massey Hall.
You already got tickets?
Yeah, grab those general admission tickets. Gonna hang out with Dylan and Mary Brown. So
Yeah,
that's
great
going to be amazing. Yeah, you don't seem excited about any of this. Anyways, appreciate all the guests this week. Nick Nurse for sitting down with Will Lou
That's right.
at practice.
That's a Nick.
Great vibes. He was in a great mood. Mo DeKeel, who's now banned from Toronto for suggesting that the Raptors should trade OG. I don't know what it is, man. Like, when we bring people on from the U.S., like, I think I do need to prep them and basically say, like, don't say anything bad about the Raptors. Specifically OG Anunoby.
This is a propaganda program, first and foremost.
Mostly. David Thorpe also, I think, tentatively banned for suggesting an OG for Terry Rozier trade. You didn't get a chance to react to it on the show.
Yeah.
Because you guys were going off air. You're out of time. Thoughts on this trade proposal?
If Charlotte called with that proposal, I'd maybe call back with, like, would you take Gary? But Rozier's very talented. Like, I know what Coach was saying, but I think OG is just a little too valuable, and I think he showed that against Cleveland. So,
and do you think the Raptors really need to, like, address their backup point guard problem, like, in this way?
Since it's the same roster, we'll have the same discussions around, like, trade deadline or even buyout season or whatever. It's just like one of the two additions I like to see the Raptors address, if not both, is a center and a third guard off the bench, like a third guard in your rotation. So your first guard off the bench.
Okay.
Like, those are the upgrades that you need to make. Even, like, for example, center, like, you watch that Cleveland game and you're like, damn, Cleveland did score a lot in the paint. And, like, the Raptors really did have a hard time, like, keeping the Cavs from shooting at the basket. And you got guys, like Scotty and Pascal, who played, a lot of, like, rim defense, getting into foul trouble. I know that a lot of the fouls weren't actually at the rim. But, you do wonder, like, okay, maybe, if you got a proper five in there, it really helps you balance out your team. But, at the same time, I think the Raptors also like this Vision 6-9 thing. And as a closing lineup, I think it's pretty effective, like we saw it, against Cleveland.
Yeah. Shouts to Savannah Hamilton, Matt Devlin.
Yeah, we're doing shout-outs, right? Go ahead.
Joining us in studio. Blake Murphy, enjoy your next couple weeks off.
Mm-hmm.
Blake's taking some time off, and of course,
well deserved.
Jay Skeets, and just want to give a couple shout outs. Gavin from Vintage 905. They play the show at the store every day, I believe. Hopefully, every day. Saw my guy Young from GQ living in New York. He came back from the home opener on Wednesday.
Okay.
I think he was in a vintage Charles Oakley jersey.
Why didn't you say hi?
I said hi to him at halftime.
Okay. That's where you want to have. Okay.
Yes. Shouts to Kai. Raptors collector, number one collector, jersey collector. Follow him, Sexy Beast on IG. It's a friendly account.
Okay.
It's just Raptors jerseys.
Okay.
And also Alex from ET Canada saw him at the Raptors game as well. Shouts to Kevin from Livestock. Message yesterday he put on the show. He's like, "Why weren't you on air?" Well, that's what my mom asked me too. Zoe at the arena. Shouts to Zoe. Always good
Shouts to
vibes.
Zoe, man.
Shouts to Zoe.
Yo,
Tristan.
looking trim too. The
man.
hairline was very crisp. Everyone knows
man.
what we're talking about.
No, shouts to Zoe. Shouts to Tristan, aka Half Good. Everybody should follow him on Twitter, IG. I believe he's bringing back the game day posters once again this season. Shouts to our manager, Elaine Kwan.
Nothing to say about Elaine. No, Elaine's amazing. Yeah.
Shouts to Trevor. Trevor, Super Fresh is on Uber Eats now, by the way. I don't know if you know that.
I don't know that, but
Buy one,
maybe
get one.
Maybe I'll just stop by the store.
Buy one, get one situation.
Word? All right, never mind. Then I will be ordering a pickup then.
Yeah, and my boy John, the degenerate gambler, got that 3-game parlay going tonight. Appreciate you, John.
No, man, don't bet on the Pistons. What are you doing?
Anyways, I'm gonna save the rat and the ox. We had a rat and the ox segment.
Are we teasing this again?
Yeah, we're gonna tease it. Might save it for the banter pod.
Oh,
might save it for I don't know.
When are we gonna do the banter pod? By the way,
at the end of the month. Yeah.
So coming up.
Yeah, coming up.
Okay, all right.
So we'll figure that out. But did you see this on Friday housekeeping?
Yeah.
So you know how the Raptors have been doing this thing, especially in the preseason, and I think on opening night, just kind of dropping tickets off.
Yeah.
At like different locations around the city.
Yeah. I saw.
And they were dropping jerseys as well. I think in like Montreal and Edmonton. So I think a Raptors fan, I wish I pulled up all the names, but like someone on Twitter posted, I guess, a parody of this. At the Queen and Spadina McDonald's location.
Oh man!
So
I actually saw this on Twitter.
Yes, and then a fan actually showed up, and obviously there weren't any tickets there. But I don't know the details of the situation, but he ended up getting gifted the tickets to go to opening night.
Really?
Like someone stepped in and sorted it out. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So that's
that's a gift, really, to give someone in life to have them visit an iconic location such as the Queen and Spadina McDonald's.
Yeah, I think
you're not really from Toronto until you've not only hopped on the 510 fare list, but also went to that McDonald's at 2 a.m.
Yeah,
it's a quintessential Toronto experience.
Well, I think that's another location that should be mentioned on the next Players Tribune essay.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
Like I think people reading should know the full experience. And speaking of McDonald's, you just see in the U.S. they're going to start selling Krispy Kreme donuts at select locations. You're not a big fan of,
They're fine.
Yeah.
They're fine. I don't know.
Appreciate all your reactions today.
They gas it up mid again.
No, someone on Twitter said this is like the Warriors acquiring KD, man.
No, it's not. It's like when the Warriors acquired DeMarcus Cousins.
New segment, Will's big purchase of the week. So you did come in today.
Oh yeah. This is
in a scooter.
Legit big purpose.
No, this is you've been talking about it this week. So you bike a lot. You I guess you take the TTC a lot, the bus and stuff. Yeah. But you have invested in the scooter, and you're very excited about it.
I'm sure everyone's here is very excited to hear about this. But it's a decent scooter. It was on sale, 15% off. And that was a major reason why I purchased it. But yeah, it's been solid. It's been fun going to work and back. It's catch me at Ramsden Park after work on Fridays. Going to play basketball when the weather's nice. So I'm gonna be there in like 20 minutes. It's a great scooter, electric. You said you're afraid to ride it. It only goes like 30 kilometers per hour. Like you can ride this thing, man. It's like a bike.
Yeah, I'm a little.
Why are you shook about a scooter?
I don't know. I just don't want to get injured.
You're not gonna get injured.
Should I put on a helmet? Are you wearing a helmet when you're?
If I find a
scootering?
That
scooting?
Fits.
Yeah.
What is
we requested Pradeo to give us some elevator music as we chat about this. Yeah.
Helmets don't fit this head.
I'm really happy for you, man. And for me, I don't know if you saw, but Adam Sandler and the Safdie brothers are doing a new movie. It's gonna be set in the world.
It feels like the music's getting louder too.
Of
the more
high-end sports card collecting. Pretty excited about that. Someone on Twitter said it should be called Uncut Tens. Yeah.
What does that even mean?
Because it's the grading of the cards. No.
When's the nostalgia era for your generation going to wash out? Because eventually it's going to be like people are going to be collecting like Pokemon Yellow.
I think I'm gonna wash out before that, man. Before the era comes and washes me out. Damn. So, no, super excited about that. All right, Nets Raptors tonight. As we mentioned, Kem Birch, aka Chemistry, is back in the lineup.
Any word on Chris Boucher?
I believe the last check he was still questionable.
That's really unfortunate. I don't even know when he got hurt because I know he was sick, but then he was fine. Also, he gave us depth, so I really hope he was fine.
Yeah, this is a hamstring injury.
Yeah, so he must have picked up a hamstring like in practice or something because we had actually seen him. There's enough time in between for him to recover from like a cold or whatever because it was a non-COVID illness. So
yeah, the Nets were blown out at home.
Pelicans look really impressive.
Yes,
by the way, I made sure obviously to check out the previous game to sort of see. I mean, whatever. It's like scouting a team is just watching one game this year. So I watched the game. Man, Pelicans look really nice. First off, the physicality is off the charts. Mm-hmm. They got like that, size across the board thing that the Raptors have, except they're even bigger across the board. Like the Raptors don't have a JV type, for example, right? But yeah, they took it to them, and then just seeing Brandon Ingram versus KD, like obviously, I remember this when I used to cosplay as a college basketball athlete.
Yeah,
reporter,
that really worried me.
No, don't worry. I didn't really actually cosplay, but that's not for me. But yeah, like it was like you watch those games and you were like, okay, when he's coming into the draft there, it's like him or Ben Simmons, and it was like, well, I don't know, this guy's like, he could be like a KD type, maybe not as good as KD because KD's generational, but when you saw what Ingram did against KD on opening night, I mean, it was very impressive. Zion is a real problem. So, like, I mean, yes, my point is the Nets did get washed and they got real problems, but also the Pelicans really deserve a lot of credit. Like, I think that's the one team that lives up to the hype. When you think about season expectations and season predictions and all that stuff, I think the Pelicans are them. They're them.
We're doing them sound.
Yeah.
There's only one them allowed in each conference. Okay. Oh my God. Yeah, no, I think you have a good point. Like, I think that game said more about the Pelicans and maybe the Nets, but at the same time, after all the talk, after all the not divorce in the offseason of the Nets.
Oh, of the Nets.
Oh my God. Stressed. There's a lot of directions there. Anyways, Banter Pod coming soon.
Yeah. We need it.
But like after all that to come out and lose by 22.
Yeah.
In your home opener.
Yeah.
And Ben Simmons fouling out, which, again, how's he fouling out all the time?
It turns out when you haven't played basketball in like a year and a half, like, it does kind of struggle to get back into it. I mean, like you and I, when we play basketball,
no, that's fair.
After an extended time, I'll probably commit 60 fouls per run.
Yeah, people don't know Will's actually a really dirty player, but we can get into that another time.
It's a physical.
No, every time you're getting beat in the low post, it just reaches a point where you're like, okay, man, I'm just going to grab him on the next play.
No, I don't grab anybody. I just reach in.
And that's what happens.
And hopefully get the ball.
But Kyrie wasn't, Kyrie had a subpar performance as well.
Yeah. He didn't shoot the ball well.
And listen, it's one game, like I get it. It's one game.
No, they just don't have wings. That's the thing. That's where it's been an interesting matchup because it's another game just like Cleveland where Cleveland had no wings that you were worried about. Like Chetty Osman hitting corner threes or like hitting Fred on a moving screen was all you really had to worry about from the wing position. Obviously, they have KD, right? And that's a big problem. But like they don't have like in-between players, like those 6'9", essentially Raptors players that they can use to sort of plug in the gaps. Because right now they don't have two-way players, especially two-way wings. They have a lot of small guards who can't really defend all that effectively. Honestly, Kyrie, he's very competitive, so he actually gets into the ball and stuff like that. But if Kyrie's like your headline perimeter defender, that's really tough. And yeah, they don't have true size either, so they're kind of half a team. But we kind of know this about Brooklyn. Basically, yeah.
So you're not that shook about Brooklyn this year? Because remember last year we were shook about having to see them in the play-in.
No, that's a one-game thing, though. Like a one-game thing, KD might go off for 50. Like how could you not be shook about that?
Mm-hmm.
Or even Kyrie could go off for 50.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to see what Nick Nurse comes up with because this is the first time that they're going to see them with Ben Simmons. Right?
Remember when I talked to Nick Nurse, before the first day of the show about the ZMT defense he did for the London Towers. He might need to do a little ZMT to KD and Kyrie. ZMT sounds sick, by the way.
Yeah, no, that's
like a crazy cool.
No, that's a great term.
Defensive scheme.
Well, I know people were asking like, what are they going to do with Ben Simmons? I think it's going to be like, remember when Rondé was on the team?
Yo, what Rondé? My favorite thing was Rondé was like he would handle the ball because like he's not an off-ball threat. He's not really that much of an on-ball threat either, but they let him handle the ball in the middle of the floor, and then Kyle Lowry would set these screens. But then Rondé's man would sag back so far because Rondé wasn't a threat to shoot that Kyle was essentially setting a screen in the paint while Rondae was above the 3-point arc, and it would actually work. So yeah, try that out, Steve Nash.
Yeah, no, I think that's what's
Why
gonna
does Steve
happen.
Nash sign up for this job, bro? He's too good for this.
So Steve Nash, you know your footy. He's like a part-time owner. He's like a part owner of Tottenham. Is that right?
I mean, which Premier League club isn't a part owner of Tottenham? Ugh.
Oh man. But yeah, he really doesn't need this.
No, he literally doesn't need this. Like, it's the anti-Matt Dublin.
I think the only day that he enjoyed this job was that one game when KD scored like 50.
Oh, and then he hugged him.
He hugged him.
He hugged him for dear life.
And
Like, thank you, KD. And KD's like, get off me. I'm like, I want you fired.
No, and can you list me another day that Steve Nash has enjoyed the job?
Well, the last day of the season.
All right.
He probably
Goddamn.
enjoys that day.
Goddamn.
Anyway.
Well, now it's time for Between the Lines, brought to you by Bet Rivers. It's a whole new game. So today's bet for me, Raptors are +2.5 against Brooklyn. You know I'm always taking the Raptors. Give me.
I think that's a good reason to take the Raptors.
Give me
man.
the path to victory tonight for the Raptors, please.
Raptors grab 15 to 20 offensive rebounds, probably 20.
Okay.
I think that you need that. I think that's where I was asking about Chris. Like, it would be nice if Chris was available. He does actually have a really good track record against Brooklyn as well. But yeah, you got a lot of extra possessions. You crash the glass hard, and maybe you shoot the same percentages roughly as Brooklyn, but you take like 15 more shots because you're able to force more turnovers and win the possession battle. Like, this is a team that doesn't have the physicality and the athletes to sort of match the Raptors. So you got to go to the glass a lot, win a lot of extra possessions. Raptors Nets games are usually high scoring as well. And they kind of get up for them too. That's the thing with the Nets. It's like they're not just like a poorly constructed team, but they're also a team where teams actually come hard at them because they do have some great players. And yeah, but I like the Raptors. So you're telling me you give me 2.5 as well? I'm taking the Raptors.
Yeah, so much talk too about just this early part of the schedule and how difficult it is. Like I like it, man. Like I want to see how the Raptors match up against these teams because these are the teams you're gonna need to beat anyways.
Yeah.
Why start off with like a schedule against like I don't even know who the bad teams are, like the Charlottes. I mean, Orlando looked pretty good too. Like, I'd rather play these teams right off the jump. Like, let's size up and let's see what's up.
Yeah, I mean, and that's the thing too. It's like I want to see how these style of games will go. Like, we're gonna come up against Miami twice and then Philly twice. What are the adjustments going to look like from game to game, and what are the styles are you going to play against them? I mean, it's going to be hard to beat a team back to back, but still, I think tactically it'll be more interesting, especially with a guy like Nick. So that was Between the Lines, brought to you by Bet Rivers. It's a whole new game. And yeah, Alex, we got a minute here before we go. What are your weekend plans?
Weekend plans, watching the Raptors tonight, watching the Raptors tomorrow.
Yeah.
Working on my manuscript and seeing my parents on Sunday. My life is
what a good Asian son.
My life is really
that's unbelievable.
my life is really boring for the next couple months.
All right, well, can you explain the cardigan then?
Cardigan by Needles. Yeah, I don't know.
By Needles?
It's not reversible. Somebody asked. It's not reversible.
I mean, every cardigan is reversible.
I mean,
it just doesn't look good reversed.
Anyways,
Yeah.
have a great weekend, everybody.
Yeah, have a great weekend. Watch the Raptors and tune in live tonight after the game. Post-game show.
Yes, React Pod.
The React Pod.
Check that.
Yeah.
Love the React Pod.
Yeah, I catch you listening to the React Pod all the time on your bike across the city.
This is all I do, man.
Yeah. We're not even kidding.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that does it for us today. We filled enough airtime. I'm your host, Walt Williams. You've been listening to The Raptors Show on the Sportsnet Radio Network. We're brought to you by Bet Rivers. It's a whole new game. Make sure you find The Raptors Show wherever you listen to podcasts and subscribe. And please rate and review our show. A reminder, we're streaming live on Sportsnet's YouTube channel and airing live on Sportsnet 360. Monday to Friday from 2 to 3 p.m. Thanks again to producer and co-host Alex Wong, our board producer Derek Brandale, and Jennifer Ronda for helping us with the YouTube streams. Thanks to J.E. Skeets for helping us with the first segment. And we'll be back next week.